technology definitely plays a larger role in education than it did even 5 years ago. For instance, now all of the new programs that are adopted, such as our language arts program, our social studies, and our science programs, come with technology components. They have CDs that teachers can use in the classroom, and also a lot of web-based sites that students can access even from home in order to support their homework or any activities in the classroom, which we did not have 5 years ago.
When I saw this, it took me back to middle school, maybe 20 years ago, when all of our videos were done with a big old VHS tape right in the camera, and we did stop action, like the early animation with claymation films. And now we've got our digital cameras, and it's Photoshop. You can do all sorts of changes using a computer, and it's just a whole different ballgame.
I think if it was embraced by educators, it would. Unfortunately, most of our educators, I don't want to say most, but many of our educators have not embraced the idea of bringing technology into the classrooms for several reasons. One, maybe because, once again, for resource reasons, because the schools cannot provide it. And so teachers on their own will not readily go out and get their own technology. That's one reason. But a second reason is, to be completely honest with you, educators, let me use the word educators, sometimes are the last ones who want to learn something new. I hate to have to say it this way, but I think we're used to doing things the old school way. And schools have run the same way for hundreds, thousands of years, and we continue to perpetuate that same system and the same way of teaching, rather than looking forward and thinking about, okay, how do we adapt to changes in time, and how do we become more effective in preparing our students for the workforce that's coming up. We tend to think the other way a lot of times and feel like, well, you know, we run the show here, schools are the way it is, and everyone just needs to operate the way it's always been. And so until educators really adapt to the new way of operating and the new way for our students to be successful in society, technology will not make learning easier. But once we do embrace it, and once we are willing to learn ourselves, and that would mean all educators needing to really go back to school and learn about the new technologies that are out there, and it's constantly changing. We know that computers are outdated within the first 2 years. So that means, continuing our education, throughout our teaching career in order to keep up with the technology to pass that on to our children. So if that can happen, then I think technology can make learning a lot easier and teaching a lot easier for all of us.
Technology has helped with mundane jobs like taking attendance and all that kind of boring stuff, but I really love the research. I love that you can go in a library in London, you can go to the Library of Congress and the stacks of the Smithsonian and look up, say, maybe Australian pictographs or something interesting from the Aborigine tribes, or whatever you're interested in, looking at pictographs and glyphs from different cultures, and you can research on the internet. And that, I think, is really fabulous as well.
Yes, yes, and yes. And why do I say this? Because this is what our children are growing up with today. Although many children still lack a lot of resources, they do not lack having a computer at home a lot of times, and they definitely do not lack cell phone technology, which is with text messages, pics messages, you can take videos, and the students today definitely are using technology on a daily basis at home or with their friends, and our schools, especially our inner school schools, we are really behind in times because we don't have a computer per child in the classroom. And that's why we're kind of losing this battle actually, because we're not moving with the wave of society where all children are growing up with technology, and technology is such an integral part of people's society, of people's lives, but yet in schools, we're not really readily able to offer that, again, especially in inner city schools that just don't have the funding.
But I don't think it can ever replace hands-on, real, nitty-gritty painting, drawing. There's just too many qualities there that do not come through on a screen. And so I think there's only so far it can really go, unless we can time travel, if you like Dr. Who.